Overt, loud and clear. Your favorite beats always near. Tune in, tune out. Let the vibe begin. Overt Radio, spinning hits to win.
Alright, welcome back from that music break. This is still Overt Radio, and you're still listening to us right here, me, Bigidezi, Kenneth, and Ibuko on Trend Table. We're just joining in. Welcome on board. We've been talking about this particular training situation as regards Solomon Bichi, talking about Down syndrome, the taking out of children, blah blah blah, those kind of things as regards the whole Down syndrome thing. And we've been discussing that for about an hour, and we have spoken about the Down syndrome, the family expectations, societal expectation, medical realities, and all of that. So we were about to read some comments before going on the music break, and we'll be doing that now. And then
Alright, so one of the comments as regards to Solomon Bichi's post earlier on, this is coming from the Yanolua Akinloye. She said, is a lengthy comment. She said that as a Christian and medic, I think it is important we make a distinction that often get lost in this conversation. Medical abortion and elective abortion are not the same. Conflating them is where the argument breaks down. A medical abortion happens when continuing a pregnancy would kill the mother, or when a fetus has been diagnosed with a condition incompatible with life. This is a clinical determination, not a personal choice. It is made by trained professionals under established medical principles that no single person can override unilaterally. On the conditions of incompatible with life, specifically, that diagnosis means the baby will not survive regardless. The only remaining question is whether the mother dies too. Opposing intervention at that point is not pro-life. It is insisting on two deaths when medicines could prevent one. One more thing worth noting is that Down syndrome is not in itself a condition incompatible with life, and it should never be presented as a straightforward case for termination. People with Down syndrome live full, meaningful lives. However, Down syndrome will frequently present alongside other conditions like cardiac defects, gastrointestinal complications, respiratory issues, and the severity of those associated conditions varies enormously from case to case. She continued to say, this is exactly why the counseling process matters. Genetic counseling exists so that families can understand the full picture of their specific situation, not a generalized version of it. The prognosis for one child with Down syndrome can look very different from another depending on what else is present. This is also why we have to be very careful about using someone's medical story as a debate point, or you should have done this moment without knowing the entirety of it. You do not have their scans, their genetic reports, their cardiologist's assessment, or their counseling notes. What looked like one thing from the outside may have had layers of clinical complexities that informed a decision you were not in the room for. Disagreeing with a decision is one thing. Using someone's most painful moment as a debate prop without the full picture isn't the best approach.
That's a very, very, very amazing analysis. I so much love it in the extent that she had, we can get different points from that particular area. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the medical abortion she spoke about.
Medical abortion.
And that's a very, very, very nice topic, because people have had situations where medically that has to happen to save maybe the wife's life. Do you understand? So you cannot just come and say, oh, that's why I made mention of good sin.
Good sin.
Yes. So normally the word abortion may seem like, oh, it's a bad thing, you know, you're killing someone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then it becomes a good thing when you're doing that thing, but you're trying to like make amends for what would have gone wrong. Do you understand? So that is where those medical abortion thing comes in place, and this is more or less like it, because like she said, we don't know how the clinical test and everything came out. You cannot love a parent more than they love that child.
Exactly.
So you cannot just sit and say, oh, they did this to their child. That is their child. They know what they are going through. For them to have taken that particular decision, definitely it's been a very tough one on them. And yeah, that was like a medical thing she spoke about. And you know, we can see, oh, Down syndrome there are levels to Down syndrome. When I was checking the old Down syndrome thing, it made reference to it happens when the chromosome 21, specifically chromosome 21, appears thrice instead of twice in the body.
Okay.
And I was wondering, okay, fine, what happens when other chromosomes, like maybe chromosome 18, because they say that we have 23 chromosomes in our body.
Okay.
So that 21 chromosome itself that causes the Down syndrome. So I was wondering, okay, about if it was chromosome 18 or chromosome 13. And it's clear that that's like another kind of thing again. It's like another kind of disability, but it's more worse than Down syndrome. And you know, so it has levels, it has grade. That's why you see some people, I think they call them, you know, those with autism. Those one with, so it has grade. And so it's divided into different things. So I really love the analysis. And yeah,
no, I'm sorry, I still want to reiterate on what she said. That because I think she was referring to Solomon Buchi, that Solomon Buchi doesn't have the right to condemn what the parents did. Before you can have the right to condemn what the parent did, this is what she said. She said that where is it? Yeah, I'm coming. Okay. Yeah, she said this is also why we have to be very careful about using someone's medical story as a debate point, or you should have done this moment without knowing the entirety of it. One, she said that you do not have their scans. Solomon Buchi doesn't have a scan of these people. Number two, their genetic reports. Number three, their cardiologist assessment or their counseling notes. So yes, Solomon Buchi might be is criticizing them on a moral stand. But medically speaking, before you can come out to criticize somebody for taking the life of a baby in the womb just because the parent or the couple discover that child or the unborn child has a Down syndrome, these are the things that you must have before you can come out to take a stand on it. And this doctor, I don't know if she's a doctor or a medical expert, she has put it in such a way that when next somebody wants to make a comment regarding this person ought to have been informed with this kind of information. That's what I wanted to say.
So do you have something to say?
Yes, I have something to say. You see, I think it is high time we stop judging people for their action.
Okay.
Instead, if we are in the same, we said it earlier, if we're in the same position the person is, we won't judge the person.
Okay.
Imagine you are in the same position the person is, you would, to make decision, that kind of decision, you can't love a child than the mother would. Like before a parent can actually decide that I want to terminate the child, the person has actually think deep that no, I don't want to face the challenges. It is better you decide right or you decide wrong forever, because if you are ready to face the challenges, you will waste money, you will waste energy and everything. That is just it.
And also, there's also another angle that I want our listeners to take it from here. If a Christian, let's use this angle now. If a Christian, when I say a Christian, that is a born again Christian, a full, a full-fledged Christian, now discover this medical condition in the life of their born child. What can that Christian parent take a leap of faith? If a Christian, maybe somebody who is close to Daddy Jew, let me use that scenario. If somebody close to Daddy Jew and they got married maybe 3 years ago, new couple, They got married 3 years ago, and this person who is close to Daddy Joe discovers that, you know, their unborn child has a Down syndrome. Can that person take a leap of faith to say, God,
change my child?
Yes. Is it possible?
Well, I like to believe that there's some things that happen. You are thinking, okay, God, this is what I want, but it maybe you want something else. Maybe you want it to go in a particular way. So that particular case, no matter the way you fast, no matter the way you pray, God's just looking at like, my child, that is not what I want for you. Do you understand? So I will not say.
So what you are saying is that God knows what He's doing to make that baby come through you.
Well, most times, right? I'm not Jehovah God. I'm just talking based off like, you know. So it can be a case of God already knows our mind before we even do something. God knows that, okay, if I do this thing for this particular child of mine, she will definitely take this particular action. He already knows. Do you understand? So in doing it, he knows that, okay, this is what she's going to do. So in that particular case now, if you are saying, oh, then God will change, it's not everything that works that way.
Can you stand it?
Can I stand? Isn't faith?
If it happens to you, can you stand it?
Like, isn't faith like to say, oh, God will change it?
No, not using faith. As a Christian, you discover that something like this has happened to your unborn child. Can you stand it? What will be your next action?
I'm trying to reply you based off of what you said.
I've cut off that question.
No, you don't have to cut off that question.
Why keep the child?
Why are you trying to cut off the question? It's a very good question, bro.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because the people that will say, maybe someone knows that her blood group is SS and she wants to get married to a particular man. SS.
No, SS. SS. I don't want to give birth to a particular.
So sometimes, it might work in some cases, because I've seen people say, oh, they were AS and it changed. It might work in some people's case. But I'm not saying everything should be based on faith that, oh, God, you change, God, you change, God, you change.
You see, I feel it is high time we should understand spirituality and medical. It is totally different. You see, when we are bringing this spirituality of a thing to medical thing, we are complicating issue. What is normal is normal. Before an expert, a doctor, qualified doctor can actually say that there is no cure to something like this. It is like that.
But while we will not undermine the impact of spirituality in our lives, I'm saying, because normally, right, when we're looking at the way the thing works, it's like it works for some people, it doesn't work for some people.
Okay.
I'm not saying you should not make it.
Are you talking about faith?
Yes, it works sometimes. Some people can say, oh, they had a particular hole in their heart.
Okay.
They did not take that particular medication. They're believing in God. Sometimes faith and works work together.
Okay, do you know what we want is different from what God wants?
Yes. So sometimes it might work for some people, it might not work for others.
That is what I'm saying. If it doesn't work for some people, they might actually be feeling like, because it works for some people and it must work for them. That is it. That's where I'm going to. So you shouldn't feel like because it works for some people, they should keep that child till the child grow up and you feel like it's going to work for the child. No. So any decision you have to take from the beginning, take it at the right time, and that's
answering the question of Ken saying the whole faith thing. Do you say, okay, you want to use faith and say, okay, that's where you answer from.
Yes.
So
continue.
I would like to talk more about the the medical part of aborting a child and all those kind of things. There are times when people would say that, oh, you're doing something like that, and you should not think about aborting it. It's a medical thing, right? You should pray to God. God will change a particular situation. That's where faith still comes in place. That particular thing now, I don't think you would go to your pastor and say, oh, medically they said I had to abort this child for this thing, and the pastor is saying, oh, don't worry, let's pray to God, and it might work sometimes, it might not work sometimes, but then they still always talk about, oh, medical abortion thing maybe is not something that should be authorized or unauthorized. Do you think something that it should be authorized, or maybe
medical abortion, if it should be authorized or if it should be legalized? Let me get your question.
It's works both ways, legalized, authorized. Because now they're talking about, oh, you're aborting the child, you're going against moral principles and all of that, and some spiritual leaders can be like, oh, I don't want you to go down road. That is you performing a sin, because they say, oh, abortion is sin. Some people will not want to know there's a medical condition area that you have to do. So when I say authorized, I'm talking about spiritual leaders part now.
Okay, if they should allow it.
Yeah, there's like spiritual leaders. If you feel like a general thing for spiritual leaders to see it as an authorized thing in their doctrine, in their church. You know how some, I don't want to mention the church, how they'll say in our church we don't collect blood.
Yes.
How they're still trying. So do you think like some parts of those doctrine they say okay we don't allow medical abortion? Yes. Do you think that it should be something that is understandable in their part, or is something that is not really understandable?
Well, I think that it all boils down to the level of information we have, you know, as either maybe as Christians or as any other faith this thing depends on the level of knowledge we have. But if medical abortion should be sanctioned or legalized, I would say that for religious leaders, before you go on such advice, you must first of all pray about it. You understand? Go to God and say, God, what is your response to this? Christianity, spirituality is more than science. I don't know if there's a way I can put it. Spirituality is bigger than science. It is, science is gotten from spirituality. Despite the fact that medically speaking, there are some things that science believe that cannot happen. You know, there are some things that science believe that can happen, but we must understand that spirituality or belief, faith supersedes science. So we must be cautious of what we are doing when it comes to this kind of condition. Like I said, the two parties must have a background knowledge of what they want to do.
Yeah.
You understand? So if I were to be a pastor and somebody comes to me seeking for an advice in this kind of area, the question that I will ask the person is, what is God telling you to do? Because if at the end of the day you're gone ahead to do it and your conscience will be judging you, it is the guilt that comes after. It is the conscience that comes after, because God has put conscience in the life of every one of us, so that you will know that this thing you're about to do, is it right, is it wrong? You understand what I'm trying to say? I think that answers it.
Oh, okay. So before we went on the break, we were talking about emotions, and I think that is what will lead us to Ibukun's part of the emotion.
Okay.
So as Ibukun is trying to prep us for that one, Ken asked if they feel they have emotions.
Okay. Those people that the victims.
So they are humans, right? And they surely feel these emotions. And I remember when this particular pastor, I can't remember his name, but the boy's name, that guy that they call Oboy, do you remember that the man came to the pulpit and said, oh, he wants a wife for his adopted son. The guy is someone in the pulpit.
Okay, Omega.
The pastor,
OPM.
I can't remember the name of the church, but I know the guy name is Ebo. That's the guy that has a disability.
Okay, I know. He's a popular.
So when the guy got married to this particular woman,
lady, yes.
Yeah. So the next time they did the particular service in church, I remember when the guy was invited to the PP with the wife, and people were commenting now, oh, he looks happy, he looks good.
Okay.
So they definitely feel emotions. They don't know how to express it fully, right? But with the right support, but then they definitely feel this emotion. So whether it's depression, happiness, any kind of emotions, they always feel the emotion. So let's hear from Ibuku on the emotional impact.
Okay, thank you, Ibuku Daisy. Okay, why do many families feel overwhelmed immediately after they receive news that yes, their child have Down syndrome? Okay, firstly, we see one parent actually firstly receive the news that my child have Down syndrome. The first thing is shock and confusion. They actually feel like, is it my child?
Or they feel disappointed.
This is what I'm expecting from you. After the years, I've stopped you for years. I'm not giving you shock and confusion. You feel like,
this is reality.
The doctor exchanged my child. This is not me. Things like that. So you actually feel many families are not prepared for it. They actually feel, no, I'm not meant to be in this kind of situation. I want a better child. I'm not saying a child that is disabled is not a better child. child won't be a better person in future, but they have plans for their future, their unborn child. They have plans for them. I want my child to be a doctor. I want my child to be in this situation. I want my child to handle my properties and things that are now noticing that their child have Down syndrome. They'll feel disappointed and no. So these are the things that lead parents to do what they're not supposed to do, or to decide wrongly or rightly. So I'm not saying terminating the child is a wrong decision or a right decision. I'm not in the best position to say that. So at the point, the moment emotion takes place, when the fear, the anxiety, the uncertainty about the future, they feel like, is this me? Things like that. They think some things. That's when emotions take place. That's why I want us to talk about the emotion. So when things like that happen, they feel scared, they feel anxious, they feel like, what is going on? This is not supposed to be me. And talking about the financial stability, some people might not be financially stable, and any child that has this Down syndrome, you should be capable of facing the challenges, both financially, emotionally, mentally, everything. You must be able to face the society, anything the society, to face pressure. Let me just put it that way, because anything the society say to you, you should be able to take it,
to handle it.
So if you don't have the emotions, you don't have the mental state to handle that kind of thing, just stay away from it. So taking that termination is the right decision, because you won't face, the society will say bad thing about you, or when you're contesting for a political thing like that, they will use those things against you. They will say like, yes, look at the person that is campaigning, that wants to be a leader for us, he has someone something like that.
I remember, I don't even know this movie, Comfortable.
Yes, a great example. Our dad was actually contesting for something like that, and they actually used the child against him.
And he lost the election.
I can't remember.
I didn't know.
It's been a long time. And the thing is actually exactly things like this. So that is it. They said, why would a leader hide the child away from the public? Is he ashamed of things like that? So why? So if you won't be able to face the society, don't bother starting what you cannot finish. So we also have to recognize that the situation is not just medical. It is deeply emotional and psychological. So talking about emotional and psychological, if you feel like, okay, you can handle it medically, most professional doctors will say it is better. I won't say it is better you terminate it. They will use a clear idea for that. Because yes.
So I'm calling. Okay. I think that the reason why we are so bothered about when we discover that a child has a Down syndrome, I think is a society that we find ourselves in, because in this part of the world, people expect you to give birth to a perfect baby.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Your family members, they expect you to give birth to a perfect baby. They expect you to give birth to a perfect boy or a perfect girl. But when that moment, when they notice that now this kind boy, this man wife born, what did happen for this woman wife family? You understand? They begin to ask some questions, and I think society, this part of this Nigeria as a state, the society has placed some level of standard that we bother ourselves so much about it, and this society is not helping us until we begin to learn from other societies. If it were to be in the United States of America, they accept things like this because of the structure, because of the systems that the government has put in place, that are in place. So I think that society, the Nigerian society is toxic. Let me use that word.
Yes, I'm actually going back to that.
It's toxic.
I used to use a quote: don't be a depression to another. Yes, if you are a depression, you don't know how to just cover your mouth or you like arm a bot too much, you end up being where you're not supposed to be. Like you feel like, there was somebody, I'm not supposed to use this example. This person, she has been looking for a child. Then along the line, God gave her a child. Then the child is what did they used to call this child that give birth? Early stage. premature. Yes. So the child was very, very small when they gave birth to the child. Yes, they could not bring out the child on naming ceremony. They had to cover the child very well because the child was so when the child was 3 months, 4 months, child was not very big. People were now saying to the mother, like, the child was small when she brought the child for naming. Said, why is your child small like this? When the child was like 4 months, 5 months, why is the child big like Amweba like this? So people will always talk. They will always talk. Yeah. So if you are ready, your mental health is you are matured enough to handle situation. Face it. So when you know you're not matured enough to handle the situation, better just step back. Don't allow people to be a depression to you. Don't allow them to depress you.
I'm sorry. Or if you have the means, you can go elsewhere to give birth to that baby.
That is it. When people do not know you.
When you don't have the means, what do you do when you don't have the means?
You live the reality.
When Ibukun said that, as a parent, when you get to know that the child you're about to give birth to has this particular thing, you feel some kind of way, and not like she was trying to say that as a someone with Down syndrome, you're not a mommy. That's not what she's trying to say. She's sure. So that point now get us back to, it's not more about what the parents are thinking. The parents are thinking about the stigmatization.
Yeah, the reaction from people.
The child will grow up and then they will be seen in a particular way. Will be limited to opportunities. People would always not want to associate with him. All those things. That is what most of them always think about. The emotional part. They're like, this my child is going to grow up. I'm not going to be like other children, because they would not make him be that way in school, in church, among his mates. They would, or even in job opportunities, they would always want to, and that's why I always, when I see certain vacancies, they're like, people with disabilities can apply. They're making reference to because most of the time you see them, they'll just look at you, and some people don't know how to just live freely. Even amongst us as a nation, you still see some people doing they call it colorism. I remember when I was watching them the other day, and Zeta and then Mide was saying colorism. Actually, the commission was like, colorism in Nigeria. Like, you don't know Nigeria. So there's colorism. There's this. They always like to stigmatize someone based on what they're going through.
Physical appearance.
Yes. So that is most of the things that the parent think about. The emotional part, and it's not maybe we're saying that they are not human beings. They are human beings. But if the society can learn to reduce or stop totally the stigmatization, segregating, and making them feel like the child that you gave birth to is obviously not. It make the parents not even feel pressure that this is my child I'm giving birth to. Like, even this child will be loved. They won't feel fright. They won't feel skeptical about having the child. So the society has a larger part to play in this thing by always minding their business and just trying to accommodate everyone regardless of their disability or anything. So in that kind of situation, are we truly building an inclusive society, or are families still left to face these challenges alone? Honestly, families, if I'm going to rate it, 30% of people are accommodating. The 70% are they're not accommodating. The times when you just see some people on the road, and some people will even be laughing. See how this person is walking, they're laughing. Some people don't have emotional intelligence in Nigeria.
Sympathy.
Yes. So I think it's still the higher percentage is still people not allowing them to feel part of the community, part of the society, part of the nation than the parents feel. So if the society can try to have that inclusiveness in their mentality and not make them feel that way, it's going to be balanced. Because right now, I don't think people with disabilities are treated. People would always still make reference, and that's why, like we said earlier, those people that are in the public space, they try to make their children with those kind of situations away from the public space, because even those that are not even, they still always drag them. So what do you post a child? When you see the child, they would always make comments talking about someone that has it. Do you understand? So that is why even people that their children are not people with disabilities, they still hide the faces of their children. They keep for calculating at now we've not seen our children, and they are like 10 years old now. How would they child be? So people like that are still keeping their children, talking about people. So to an extent, I understand why those on the high places that have those kind of children would want to like not make them to always be in a public space. Thinking about it, I think it's more about inclusiveness. They don't make them feel part of the society, and social media is very toxic.
Fantastic.
So, Kenneth, I want to ask, what kind of what psychological counseling can help us to navigate this kind of thing? Children that have this kind of Down syndrome.
Well, I think as a parent, once you've discovered that that the child that you'll be giving birth to has a Down syndrome, outside of the religious counseling,
okay,
you should also go for medical counseling.
Medical counseling.
Yes, because seek experts in that field, because these are psychologists, because they know what you'll be going through.
Even therapists.
Exactly, therapists. These are psychologists. They know what you'll be going through. So it is advisable that after you've gone to your pastor or you've gone to your imam, also go to a therapist or a psychologist, a counselor that will counsel you on how you should behave. Because sometimes when we initially give birth to that person with that medical condition, sometimes we might be frustrated, to see the way how this baby or this girl is behaving. We feel frustrated. So it is that counseling that you've received, it is that therapy that you've received that will now guide you towards how you're going to behave towards that child. That child needs love. You cannot give love if you don't have love. You must first of all love yourself. You understand?
Yes.
If you have somebody who has a Down syndrome, you must first of all love yourself before you can give love to that person. What they need is love, nothing else but love. Acceptance is what they need. So counseling, therapy, is a good for me. It's a good for me,
because that's more like a trauma, actually.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say this last thing. I just feel like society, parents should always, not that Down syndrome children should only be given birth to, they should always make them feel like they have meaningful life. They have something to come and do on earth. I think that alone will make them feel like, yes, they are important.
And people should mind their business. Because I remember one time, serious, I remember one woman like that when I was 7. The woman's child, I think the girl at that time was like maybe 2 years. She had slow, like, maybe at that age she'd be doing certain things like maybe talking, walking, and the girl was not up to that thing. Some people will go to the woman, she'll be like, your child is not yet talking. Okay, fine. Don't say that, married. What have you done? So what kind of questions? Someone is trying to...
Most Nigerians are busybodies.
That is it.
Someone is trying to cater for this child back, and definitely she will be going through her own trauma. You're not saying, what have you done? Oh, wow, she's not talking. Oh, wow, hey, yeah, all those...
Yeah, the child is not working years and is 1 year.
It is not your business. You already just look away. But like, no, they would always want to give...
That's one comment or the other.
Don't always have comments. Mind your business. Nobody sorts your opinion or this thing. Even she has to mind your business. But no,
I think that mind your business of a thing. But people are actually using it to get off the situation of this.
Someone else. Wow. If you're bored, you go on social media, you see celebrity gist there. Don't use someone to be doing it. Even celebrities are human beings too. Don't go there and be trolled and be seeing all sort of thing. This guy, I can't remember, this video director, TJ Mori. He did kidney transplant recently. So the guy tweeted one day and said, "Oh, we thank God for life or something." Someone commented with you that I can't remember the way he said it, that your life is they give you a second chance and something like that. Like, some people don't know how to just talk. I don't know. And people should just mind your business. That's what I have to say.
Let me take one comment before we go on a musical break.
Okay.
I'm coming. Let me take one comment. This is, I think, in line with what you just said earlier. Okay. Now, this is coming from Nsube_YO. He said, Solomon Buchi, I understand the point you are making. And I agree that every human life has value, regardless of disability, but I don't think it's fair to compare parents facing a difficult prenatal diagnosis to Hitler. Some families simply don't have the emotional, financial, and practical capacity to care for a child with significant special needs. That doesn't automatically make them hateful or driven by the same mindset as someone who wanted to eliminate an entire group of people. people make these decisions for different reasons, and while we may disagree with those decisions, it's important to recognize the complexity of the situation and the realities some families face. Compassion should apply to everyone involved, including parents struggling with a choice they may never fully recover from.
Yeah, exactly. The parents who are dealing with their own, so I don't think you're in the best position to tell them, oh, you should have done this, should have done that.
Yes.
Because they also have their own dealings, and there are certain names that people should also learn to call the people that have this Down syndrome. So people call them some names I can't even say.
Yes.
Right? You should know the right words to use. Special needs. People with not that you're calling them the one with the high or the one with the I can't say. I'm not gonna stop it now. You know those right words to call them. So people are just very, like I said earlier, they don't have that emotional intelligence. You don't use certain words. You imagine a mother is hearing someone calling a child that doesn't even does not yet maybe 5 years old, that doesn't understand English yet, that is still trying to like grow. Maybe someone that is like 2 years old that does not really know what's going on yet. You're like, that woman's child that has that woman, all those kind of, and the woman hears it and she's dealing with her own. You think maybe it's just the child, but no, the parents are also dealing with their own.
Exactly.
So always have compassion on the parents.
Exactly.
Too. The parents too are also dealing with this particular thing.
Alright, Lagos, we'll go on a quick music break, and when we return, it will be the last lap of Trend Table here on Overt Radio. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Keep it locked.
Keep it locked.